Great, let me send you a proposal. And the buyer was never seen again. That is not sales for nice people, but this is. That example where I was at a client's office and one of the salespeople was on a cold call with a potential buyer and they had a nice conversation and the buyer said, yeah, it sounds interesting, it might be something for us. And on that very first call, the salesperson went, great stuff, I'll send you a proposal. And they never heard from the buyer again. Because what happened at that point? What the salesperson didn't realize is that if you make assumptions about what somebody's intention is or about what their statements mean, you create a disconnect. When you assume something about what somebody has said, you then have an expectation and you then expect that person to follow through on what you think they meant to say. And that person may have had a completely different intention or meaning behind what they said. But if you make an interpretation and an assumption about what somebody says, and you then proceed to act based on what you think they wanted you to hear instead of what they actually wanted you to hear, that person is going to disconnect from you because they'll feel like you're not getting them or like you're moving too fast or you're being needy or you want something from them. And that is not the way to operate. When you hear a buyer say, yes, it sounds good, that doesn't mean that they're going to go forward with a sale. So stop and ask them, when you say it sounds good, does that mean that you want to move forward with this project? And now they course correct you. Now they give you intel, they give you insight, they help you understand better where they're at, and you get to continue the conversation based on what they actually wanted you to hear and not on what you wanted to hear. And that is the big danger and the risk in sales, where we want to hear, yes, let's do it. Yes, I'm going to sign, I'm going to pay. But when you hear something and you're happy because you think you're hearing what you want to hear, you might actually be ruining the sale at that point. So at any time that your buyer says something and it confirms what you're hoping for, or it sounds really good and you want to take a next step, stop before proceeding and ask them to verify that you understood it correctly. Help me understand, just so that we're on the same page. When you say XYZ, does that mean that, or when a buyer says, yeah, I think we should do this, stop before you continue and ask them, just so that I understand, does that mean that, and let them fill in the picture. Let them correct you, let your buyer tell you what they actually wanted you to hear and not what you were hoping to hear. Don't fall prey to assumptions, because assumptions will ruin your relationships. They will ruin your deals. Don't make your assumptions the reason why your sales stall and why your buyers ghost you. That is Sales for Nice People. Go to salesfornicepeople.com/sign up for a short daily email with tips like this, and I will see you again tomorrow.